Yes, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Ghostoul Podcast. It's a bit cold in here, don't you think? You've got to wrap yourself up, keep warm and all that. But yes, this week we have another amazing guest. We have a gentleman that I've worked with in the past. He's very knowledgeable. He's very clever. He's a writer, producer, actor, paranormal investigator. He's everything in a little box. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring him on the show. We have Michael David Roberts.
Hi!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We're wearing the same coats and hat.
You've been in my wardrobe.
Yeah, you've been in mine. I think I had my coat before you, to be fair.
You did have your coat before me, yes.
But I didn't have the hat.
No, the hat came from me, yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't know you were going to wear that.
Can we take our hats and coat off now, because it's quite warm in here?
Yes, let's do that.
I might leave the hat on, actually.
Yeah, woo.
Well, that was fun.
That was good, wasn't it? Yeah, a bit of comedy at the beginning of the show. I like it. So, sir, how have you been? You been all right?
Very well, yes. Happy New Year. Can you say that on the 20th of January? Is that acceptable? Is that a bit too...
I'm sure you can. Yeah, if you've not seen people.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
I've not seen you for how many years, so I probably owe you a few Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, no, I'm all good. Yeah, it's a good start to the year. Been busy, back to work filming for clients and stuff. So yeah. Been keeping busy, and then I'm out again tomorrow. So yeah, do you know, I get bored after 2 weeks off. I'm like, right, I want to go back to it now. I just hit this wall. I'm like, right, I've climbed enough mountains. I've camped in my van enough times. I want to get back to some normality.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so
I can imagine it's like that. Creative people, I presume you're very creative from what the things that you produce, etc. They like you can't be kept for too long before you have to start, branching out and getting back on it.
It's quite funny because obviously when I'm off, I used to pick up the camera and record stuff. Now, I just don't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, that whole creating all the time and filming loads of stuff takes you away from what you're supposed to be doing. Then you got to come back and mess all about. And then, so I think now when I switch off, I like fully switch off. And then I get back from being away and I'm like, oh, why did I not take any content? So it's like a double-edged sword. You kind of want to create, but then I also need time off. And most of the time, I'm walking up mountains and hills, and I see loads of people going up with cameras, and I'm just like, I bet you they don't do that as a full-time job.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, it's all good, all good. So back to work, busy, and then trying to get my year all sorted. I've got a lot of things I want to do outside of my client stuff. I want to get back to creating stuff, and I've got a few ideas of what I want to do, which we'll probably talk about. So so just want to be a bit more creative this year, because I think after 13 years of doing this and running the business, I've noticed a lot of clients they're scared to do things that are not like classed as normal. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to try new things. They just want basic. And I think that can kind of suppress your creativity. And the only time I'm really happy is when I'm walking around in the pitch black looking for ghosts or with a camera and filming crazy stuff that's just for me. And, I think this year, my New Year's resolution is to do more personal projects.
Can't complain. That's a great idea. That's great. Something for yourself. Obviously, you spend a lot of time working for other people, as it were, providing them with your skills and your product that you film for them. Why not do something for yourself? Something that makes you happy as well. There's only so long you can go creating for others. I think sometimes you need to have a bit for yourself. I think
it just gets boring, because the majority of the stuff that I do is the same stuff: snipping, clipping, putting names on. and putting logos, which, you know, I do still enjoy doing, don't get me wrong, but that does not feed the creativity, and it makes you it kind of numbs the fun out of it. So, you know, you just you're in zombie mode all the time doing the same old stuff. So I think I either get an editor to do all that, because I still enjoy going out and filming and capturing, but it's just the mundane stuff, which I think maybe I should get somebody else to do that, and find somebody who's better at doing it than me to improve the videos that I do, whilst I go off and do other things. So yeah, I think I'm just looking for a challenge. But I've got a few challenges this year that I've set myself, so I won't be bored this year, to say the least.
That's good. I like that. So we have a few people that have left comments so far. Tracy, good morning, Tracy. She's in Australia. So,
Good morning.
Yeah, she's ready with her coffee.
Oh,
Ready
good
to
stuff.
go. Yeah, can't beat coffee in the morning. Helen's here.
Yeah.
Hello, Helen. Admit, how are you? Hope you're good. Carl, good evening, sir. Hope everything is good with you at the moment. The Paralytic Boys, John and Neil. Hope
And
you're well.
Carl's there.
So, before we carry on, some
Yes.
people might not know who you are. If you could just give us a little intro of what you do, like, just so they get to know you a bit more, like from your
So-
business side, I suppose, or
I'll take my hat off, going into professional mode.
there we
now.
go.
There you go. So my name is Michael David Roberts, and I'm a filmmaker. But also, I go under the name as Michael D, which is my actor's name. So a lot of the stuff that I do that's like creative is Michael D. So if anyone remembers Scariest Places, where I played Merica Laura, I was called Michael D in the credits. So the way we know each other is many, many moons ago. I did a spoof of Most Haunted called Scariest Places, and we did about, I think, 7 episodes between the years 2014 up to 2020, I think the last one was 20 or 21. We did a Halloween special. And we are hoping to do more. It's just trying to get the cast together and trying to get people to commit to times and stuff. So Scariest Places is kind of the first kind of big thing that I did. Then I did Merica Laura's Ghost Towns, which was a little spin-off. And then I worked on my own independent sitcom called Morbid, which is set in a funeral directors. And we are still in production for that, so we're still working on things this year for that. So I make films, I write characters, I love comedy, and I love the paranormal. So that's a bit of what I do, and then my day-to-day stuff is filming for clients when it's got to be all serious, and please and thank yous, and don't tell bad jokes in front of your clients. So I need the creative stuff to kind of get out my box sometimes.
Yeah. So what started you into the paranormal? What sparked your interest?
I wouldn't say I'm a believer. Well, I am a believer. I'm probably sway more to I believe than I do not believe. But I think the years that we were doing, because Scariest Places was always filmed in real haunted locations for that authenticity. And we used to have so many things. I think one of the last shoots we did before it came back in 2021, we were down at the Tudor House Inn in Nottingham. No, not Nottingham. It's in Warwick. We were filming there. And I remember saying it must have been about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we'd been up drinking because we were filming the next day. So we went down the night before.
Yeah.
And I remember I literally went down I had to go to my car to get my contact solutions because I'd left it in the car, and I went downstairs, and we'd been upstairs, the cast of us all in one room on the bed drinking beer. That's the only reason why we ever did the show, was just so we could get drunk the night before. But I remember I come downstairs with 2 members of the cast, and I said, this place isn't haunted. I just feel it. I just feel like there's nothing here. And then all of a sudden, you felt 1,000 eyes watching you, and you could feel it in the room. And at that point, glass went flying across the room and smashed. But the funniest thing is, we never saw the glass flying across the room. We just heard it. We heard something get thrown, and we heard a smash. And then the next morning at breakfast, before we started filming at 9, I said to the lady that ran the pub, I said, "Did you find any glass anywhere?" I said, because something threw a glass, and we don't know where it went. And no, that nobody found any glass. And that was like, wow, that's odd. And 3 of us heard it. So that's what interests me about the paranormal, because will anybody ever fully prove that any of it exists? And I think that's why so many people like the paranormal, because it's kind of like we're all looking for that proof, and we find that proof sometimes, but then trying to show the world just goes, oh well, that's fake. Especially in the world of AI, I think there's no way you would be able to prove that a ghost exists in today's world. That's the problem. I mean, as a filmmaker, I know how things can easily be edited. And I think that's the problem. So unless you see it, in the moment, you can't share that with the world. I've had many things happen to me in the past. Many things.
No, like you say, AI has just ruined any little hope that we have of any evidence being shown on film. It's just like, no, that's it now, job done. There's no way that anyone's going to believe it. People didn't believe anyway, to be fair. Oh, you just put that in. That's an overlay. That's masked,
And it's easily done. It is easily done. Like, there are things that I've watched where I've got a lot of friends in the paranormal who will share things, and you watch it and you kind of want to believe, but then I think my filmmaker brain kicks in and goes, oh well, that's how you'd probably do that. That's how you'd put that sound in, or that's how you'd put that effect in. And I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people are a bit more kind of clued up with things like that now, because it's so easily accessible with our smartphones that we can create things. And a lot of people edit stuff on YouTube. A lot of people have little shows and podcasts and stuff like that. So a lot more people are a bit more used to production value, editing, filming. And so I think, I think unless it happens to you physically and you go through something where you feel something, see something, then I think it's only a very personal thing now. But then you then can dive. Although I'm a believer, I'm always trying to look at how the brain works. How, if 3 people hear a sound, does that just mean that 3 minds are working together, or does it actually mean that there is paranormal activity? So you kind of have to kind of rule everything out first, and then when you can't explain it, go, well, it must be paranormal activity. But the brain is such a clever thing that we don't even use our full brain. So we're not even aware of what our brains are capable of doing. So it's one of those, I do believe, but I always have that element of, right, let's work this out first before I say, right, that was a ghost. I think people are too easily led to believe something, and or people kind of want to believe that much that they just go, yeah, that was a ghost. So it's about believing, but also trying to rule things out as best you can.
I think sometimes people want to believe because they've lost loved ones, friends, and they probably see it as a comfort. Excuse me. That there is an afterlife, so they're okay. So they like trying. Oh, that's something happened in my house. It's definitely my mom or my brother or my husband or whatever. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with believing like that.
No.
If it comforts you and helps you, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I am a believer. I've always said I'm a believer. But I think for me, for it to be authentic, I think you have to go through that element in your head of, right, let's work this out first before we start daydreaming about, is this real? Is this not real? Could it be this? Could it be that? But the interesting thing is when I remember we just finished filming Scariest Places at Derby Jail.
Mm.
So this is 2014, 15, possibly. And I remember there was a tapping on the floor underneath the stone. You've been to Derby Jail, so underneath the stone, there's no cellars. Like you're actually in the cellar. You're actually at the bottom of the building. There's nothing.
Yeah,
else
you're on the concrete. Yeah.
There was tapping, and it was a twice for yes, once for no. And you could actually ask it yes or no questions, and it would reply, and the whole cast and crew could hear it. There's actually a clip somewhere on a hard drive of us filming in between takes. I think we were breaking. I think Ashley had ordered loads of pizzas from Domino's, so we took a big break. And I remember we kept one camera running, and we were asking it questions. Hear it on the camera, as clear as that. Even in the episode, you can hear it. If you're listening out for it, you can hear it. That actually followed me home. And when we got, because we were that scared that night, we were supposed to be there for 2 nights. We did one night, did a full day's filming around about 10 and 11 o'clock at night. The atmosphere got so intolerable that we literally drove home at about 11, 12 o'clock at night. I got home about 1, 2 in the morning, dropped everybody off in Ellesmere Port, and you could hear tapping. There was tapping underneath the car, literally underneath the car. And then that followed me to work. At the time, I worked in Starbucks. Customers were going, "What's that tapping?" And I'm like,
"Oh, wow."
Yeah. And I could feel something. And every time I talk about this story, I can feel it now. I feel like something's in my spine, if that makes sense. For months, it felt like I had this backpack on, and I was waking up after like 8 hours sleep, knackered, drained. I'd wake up at 2, 3 in the morning and feel something was in my bedroom at home. But it wasn't until I was at the traffic lights and I just finished work. I was going home, and it was just constantly tapping and tapping and tapping. And I screamed at it, and it was tapping even more. I had to go back to Derby Jail. I had to go to Vernon Gate. I had to go all the way to Spiral Stairs.
Yeah.
Viv Powell, do you know Viv Powell?
Yeah, I know Viv, yeah. She
lives not far from me. She had to do some kind of like exorcism. And when, whatever it was, from what I was told, it was an entity that had never lived. It was a floating energy. It had never lived a life. It was a floating energy. And when that left me, I felt it. And I could not, to this day, describe how that felt. It was bizarre. So I know something's out there.
Something's there, yeah.
But you just can't 100% prove. So therefore you sit there and you think, well, I know it to be true, but could it, you've always got that element of, could it be this, could it be that? But that was the craziest thing. That's probably the closest I've never physically seen a ghost. Or maybe I have, I don't know. But I've never physically seen a ghost, but I've heard things, I've felt things. And I think for me that's, and ever since then, I've never felt or seen anything since. I was completely shut down, all chakras closed. And I think Viv's tried to open up my chakras before.
Yeah.
I used to get this little white flashing light when we used to do Scariest Places. It was crazy. Like the things that would happen during filming was insane. Because I think if you think of a ghost, say you die, and then you think, right, I'm a ghost now. If you're in a haunted building and someone says, come on, tap something or throw something, you'd be sitting there going, I ain't doing that. You'd still consciously have, I would assume as a ghost, you would still think and feel the same way as you would if you'd have lived.
I would imagine so.
If someone says to you, do this, do that, you're sitting there thinking, I ain't doing that. But when we went to do Scariest Places, it was the first time camera crews came into a haunted location and didn't want paranormal activity to happen. So we went, folk. We didn't want all of that to happen. We were like, no, we're filming a spoof film. So the ghosts are probably sitting there going, oh, they don't want anything to do with us. Oh, let's go wind them up. That's how I kind of saw it. But yeah, many people had very different stories when we did it. So it was quite a unique experience as well at the same time. But I wanted that authenticity when we filmed it. I wanted it to feel so real that the humor when writing the comedy just came out naturally rather than trying to force everything. So we wanted to be in real haunted locations. But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I used to get headaches all the time. Gary Fields had to help me loads of times because, like, you know, if I'd go to his house sometimes and I'd just feel physically sick and drained. It was crazy. So I know
Gary.
something's out there. Oh, he's ace. He it's like 5 minutes from me.
Oh, does he? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I go to the Liverpool games with him.
Ah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I love Gary. He's ace.
No comment this season.
Let's not. Moving on.
Move on. Yeah.
Instead.
Oh, we got a question from Carl. Out of all the characters you have played, who is your favourite?
Oh, hands down, Merrick. I think it's such a privilege to play Merrick and to have worked with Derek once or twice and to have had that Merrick and Derek video. Like if it hadn't been for Derek, I don't think my business would have kind of, like, I was doing videos before, but it was like silly little YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then when we did that video, I'd only just got my camera, and it was before we did the Kelvin and Hatch, which was the first ever Scariest Places.
Great place.
If it hadn't been for Derek, I probably would have ended up doing this. But I think he helped me so much when he didn't have to. So a lot of love, a lot of thanks to Derek and Gwen for kind of helping me out when they didn't have to, and being such a good sport as well, and realizing what Merrick was all. Because I remember I was working in Starbucks one day and I tweeted Derek because he was in Ellesmere Port doing a mediumship night. So I tweeted him on Twitter and I said, "Can we do a little video at the end of the show?" And he went, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, wow.
So Kev, who played Dick Feelit, he used to be a customer in Starbucks.
Okay.
So he came in and I said, I've just got this tweet from Derek Okora. He said we can do this video with him. And I said, but I've literally got no money. I had like 20 quid in the bank. It was like days before we got paid.
Yeah.
And Kev went and sat down with his coffee, bought 2 tickets and said, right, we're going tonight. You're going to go and do this video. I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. So we went, we did the filming, we watched the show, did the filming. Then when Merrick Met Derek went live in all the paranormal groups. And then I remember we had an invitation to go to Kelvin and Hatch. It was on a Saturday, I think. So I was working in the morning. So I was up from about 5:30. I was working 6 till 12 or something like that, 6 till 11. Went home, had a shower, got changed, picked Kev up. Who else was in the car? There was Bernie, who played the first Annette, because we've had 3. We go through them like I don't know what. And then we picked up Pete, who played Carl BT. And then the 4 of us drove down to Kelvin Hatch. We were on a ghost tour, doing a paranormal investigation, and Mickey Ghostoul said to me, right, we're going to go in these rooms. You just go into those rooms once we're done and do your filming. So we didn't even have a script. We literally I'd watched the Most Haunted episode. I kind of visualized it in my head and went, right, I need to get this shot. I need to be in that location. And then we just had such a laugh. So then we put the Kelvin Hatch episode out and it went boom. Everybody was like, oh, come and do one with us. Then we ended up going to Ruthin Jail, which is weird because my girlfriend lives opposite Ruthin Jail. So every time I walk out of her front door, I see the tower of Ruthin Jail from the front door. So, and it just takes me back all the time. And so we did. So it was Gary. That's when I met Gary Fields. He actually invited me on a ghost hunt. They were doing Ruthin Jail, and they said, "Look, just film around us. We'll go in this room." It was the same setup, so we did that.
Yeah.
Then the Ruthin Jail came out, and then when we replaced the Annette again, we had Sam, who played Annette the second. Her brother ran the Victoria and Chester and the commercial. Oh no, Victoria and the Saddle. So then we did an episode there, but they let us have the pub for the whole night.
Oh wow.
So then we did that episode, and then I think I met Ashley. He then invited us down to the jail, or was it? Yeah, I think that's how it worked out. Then we ended up going to the jail. Then we did Derby Jail, and then from there we went up to Pendle. Then we went down to Warwick. We did actually film half an episode at Tutbury Castle, but then we'd all fallen out at that point. So there is half an episode on a hard drive somewhere that's never been finished. And then we did the White Swan, which is my local pub in between my house and Gary's house. So we filmed there. And yeah, so the cast want to do another one. It's just what I'd love to do is to pre-record a Scariest Places live, get about 200 people in a hall, loads of seats, get like a panel with loads of Scariest Places banners, and film as if it's live.
Yes. Yeah,
and then Halloween this year, what I'd love to do is to stream it live with a clock in the corner that actually represents the time, and so it'll go out at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then so it would look as if it was live. And then, and what I could then do is people who comment, because you use StreamYard. I use another one. Can't remember what it's called now. It's gone out of my head. I use another one. And so then what I could do is I can kind of put out, oh, there's a ghost on webcam too, and actually really kind of create a Scariest Places live as if it felt live, and then do that over 2 nights. So film it all in one go, but then put 2 episodes out over 2 nights, over Halloween's Eve and Halloween. Or maybe just before Halloween, because lots of people go out trick-or-treating and they have things that they're doing. So that is like the pinnacle of what I'd like to do with Scariest Places. And the cast are all happy to do it. It's just, it needs a lot of time. It would probably need to be filmed now, so it was ready for October.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sort of time scale, yeah.
But, that would be brilliant. If we could find a location that was pretty empty, get about 200 people in like a hall, buy like loads of banners, set up like TV monitors with the logo flashing and stuff, and to film it as if it was live. That's like what I'd love to do. But again, it's a lot of time and effort and trying to get people organised and stuff. It is doable, and we did say we wanted to bring at least 3 episodes back this year. So,
well, we know a lot of people, mate. I'm sure we can sort something out.
Honestly, if people wanted to drive up to the north and be a part of it, they would be more than happy.
I'll be straight up there.
Yeah. You could be in it. You could be like a paranormal vet. We'll give you a funny name and everything. Yeah. Merrick and Mickey wear the same hat and coat throughout the whole night.
Yeah, and the joke never gets old.
Well, yeah. So in answer to the question, Merrick is the best character I've ever played. Yeah.
So obviously, you do your parody show from Most Haunted. You grew up watching Most Haunted.
Yeah.
Did that help your paranormal journey? Because it did for me. It started everything for me. I had no interest whatsoever before I saw the show. Obviously, back in the first few series, it was legendary.
Yeah.
And it really captured the nation, I think.
Do you know what I think it is?
Awesome.
I mean, my love for the paranormal, like, before Most Haunted, there used to be a program on Living TV. Was it Living TV or Discovery? It was called Scariest Places on Earth, hence why I got the name from Scariest Places. But it was presented by Linda Blair, and it was a little bit like Strange But True. I used to remember watching Strange But True with my Glasspool on a Sunday, and that was years before Most Haunted. So Cheshire is where I'm from.
Yeah.
Ellesmere Port, Cheshire. Cheshire is rich with ghost stories,
Yeah.
just like Nottingham and Derby, London, Edinburgh. So, I've always grown up with a love of the paranormal. But I was in school when Most Haunted first launched, and I used to remember it used to be on a Thursday night, didn't it? On Living TV.
Yeah, Carl said he's been on that. Carl's been on loads of TV shows.
Oh yeah, there's always one. There's always one.
I've been on that. I've been there. I've got that. No, we love Carl.
He is ace. But I remember I used to rush home on a Thursday. I used to get so excited on Thursday. Me, my mum, and my sister would literally get a big duvet from upstairs, would put the fire on, turn all the lights off, and we would watch Most Haunted like it was a ritual in our house. And I just adored Derek.
The lives were like that, though, weren't they? The lives were. I used to get all the snacks, 3 hours.
Computer, used to get all the webcams on. What my sister would be on the computer watching the webcams. It was just a magical time, and also the locations as well that they had. They had really fantastic locations. I remember I actually went on a date to Chillingham Castle about 6 years ago, as you do. Stayed over for the night, had the whole castle to myself. And we stayed in the hall. I stayed in the 4-poster bedroom where Derek gets possessed.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And I remember it was like 3 a.m, and we were told not to go up onto the roof. And we took some beers to the top of the roof, and we're just sitting on the top of this castle on the roof at 3 a.m, look at the stars in Northumberland, going, God, some of the things you do in your life is just incredible. It's such a small, tiny thing, but to have a castle all to yourself, Chillingham Castle.
Exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure Scariest Places on Earth covered Chillingham Castle quite a few times than Most Haunted did. And so I just adored this kind of Chillingham Castle. I always thought it was in Scotland, but it's right on the border. So being able to stay there and get drunk on the roof when told not to was just a brilliant night. And yeah, so for me, my love of paranormal came from watching it. I mean, we all have to love and respect what that show gave so many of us.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They do have this. They have this kind of. It's like a mystical kind of. We were all under that spell for so many years, and I think that's obviously why the paranormal's so big now, because of that show. And had that show not have been around, probably wouldn't the landscape of the paranormal wouldn't probably be what it is today.
No.
So,
and also when I first started ghost hunting, before I went to the locations, obviously I wanted to go to the locations that Most Haunted had been to, because they're the famous ones. So I'd sit on YouTube and watch the episodes of Most Haunted before I went to the investigation. And I thought, oh wow, this happened, like you said, in the bedroom, the 4-poster bed with Derek. This is what happened in this room. Oh my God, look at this. This is the cellar that this happened. Like first time I went to the Ram. Oh, that's where Stuart got battered in the barn.
What was that episode where I think Stu and Carl are in the cellar and the barrel's starting to go up the hill?
In the brewery?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, Stuart was supposed to be on his own, wasn't he? And then suddenly it came down and it went back up again.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is that?
And then there was another one where Derek, Yvette were at, they were in a military aircraft hangar, and there was there's a museum. I think it was one of the last ones before Derek left. It was I can't remember. That's another good one. It's funny because obviously when I created the Kelvin Hatch one, I'm pretty sure I literally watched if you actually watched the Derby jail episode, it's so like for like. I remember Richard Felix, he said, we were sitting around the table and I was going off memory because that's how my brain works. I don't write things down. I just in my head go, right, I need to get this scene. I remember setting it up, and Richard was next to Dick Velit, Kev, and he just sat there and he went, "This is so surreal." He could not stop looking at Sam because he was like, "You just look just like a vet." Like it was, he was kind of in this kind of daze of, wow, this I've gone back 15 years. He was,
Yeah.
and then when he left, he was just like, "Can I stick around for a bit?" I'm like, "Yeah, you do whatever. It's your jail. You can do whatever you want." Um, and yeah, it was just. I've actually got on my desk, pride of place, a signed photo of me and Richard
Oh wow, young
outside the
you.
jail.
That's
So
brilliant.
that sits on my desk. Pride of place. I never got an autograph off Derek.
Oh, that's a shame.
But I got a
But you
video
filmed
with
with him, so
Derek, so
yeah.
that's probably better, isn't it? Really, to be fair. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I've been very lucky. Been very lucky because we've had Derek involved, we've had Richard involved, we would have had Leslie involved, but obviously we all fell out. And then because I worked at Tubby Castle for a while, not long after that, I did all like
Oh wow.
Christmas and like New
Yeah.
Year's parties. I'd like pour pints and serve at the bar
Oh
and stuff.
wow.
Yeah, like
Great
lived
place,
there.
though. Yeah.
I worked at Tubby Castle every bonfire night. Did the firework shows and like sold hats and cups and stuff, and helped with the car park one year. That was fun. Got a walkie-talkie.
Ah.
And Leslie was all right. "How are you? How's my favourite Merrick?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's good. I love Leslie." But yeah, we had Richard, we had Phil Wyman and Sarah. They did the last episode at the White Swan. They sent us some night vision stuff to go into the episode.
Okay.
I actually spent New Year's Eve with them once. It was so bizarre, and then I think my van broke down on the way home on New Year's Day. But yeah, they invited me up to spend New Year's Eve with them, and it was absolutely brilliant. And they invited me onto their show as well. So yeah, like it is the unofficial official spoof of Most Haunted. It's the most accurate and close to the show that you'll get.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you got Most Fire, didn't you? That lasted for a while.
I got what?
There was that parody show, Most Farted. Do you remember seeing?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was quite
That
funny.
was Saturday Night Live. I think did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that one, Most Fathers. Yeah, yeah. I think our humour was a little bit better than theirs. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You got production value. Yours is awesome. So obviously, you said about the Derby Jail tap-in and
yeah.
the potential spirit that followed you home. Is that the only thing paranormal that happened while filming the show
Um,
that you can
nothing
remember?
happened. Nothing
Mm.
happened up in Pendle, but a lot of the time we were in fields in the middle of the night, so
Oh yeah, yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
really. We had Simon Entwistle do a little piece to camera as well. He was like our little historian.
Pendle
So
genius. Yeah, he's
he had a little
awesome.
part. He was like, when he met us, he was like, "I'm such a big fan of the show," and I'm like, "Oh, Simon," and we loved it. He was so, and you know what? He helped us with the history. He gave us locations. Location said, "Yeah, yeah, you can come and film," because they knew Simon, and
Yeah, yeah.
so that was good. I don't think anything happened at Chester. Nothing happened at Rithin. Kelvedon, no. I think it was just Derby. Derby was the only place that something really kicked off, and then after that, once I got possessed by something, I've never ever felt or heard or seen anything. Actually, no, I tell a lie. First time I stayed at my girlfriend's house, she thinks I'm mad. But first time I stayed at my girlfriend's house, I could hear things in the kitchen, like a hustle and bustle of I could feel something.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I think I could be wrong, but because I'd been kind of connected with the Rithin jail, and it's literally it's at the back of a house. You can literally physically see it's like a 5 minute walk. I don't know whether anything had kind of come over. I can't confirm or deny, but that was the only time I felt something that was similar to how I felt when we did Scariest Places. But apart from that, nothing. Nothing, which is a shame, really.
Yeah. Imagine getting some paranormal evidence while you're filming your spoof show. That would be just
Yeah.
ironic, wouldn't it, really?
But it's funny. I remember there was something when me and you met up when we were at that place in Burton on Trent,
The block, yeah.
the block. Now that was a scary place.
That top level.
Such a shame that that's not there anymore. But yeah, there was that little corridor in the before you get like when you're in the roof section. Oh
Yes,
my
yeah.
God. Yeah, I that night was horrible.
With the barrels, where the
Yeah.
barrels were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got I had a locked off camera there, and they were banging like someone was hitting them. I put
Mm.
it out on YouTube, and I got copyrighted for that from someone else who
Oh,
was also on the show that we were filming. And it's like, how can you copyright? It's my video camera.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's no humans in the footage, and it's like, yeah. That show that we did, that had a quite good idea. Was that your production? Did you write
No,
that?
no,
The idea for?
yeah. So
I can't remember how it went.
I was asked to. I was messaged on Facebook and said, "Oh, would you come and film this pilot idea?" And I said, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So drove me and Pete came down. So Pete, who plays Carl, he came with me. We
Yeah,
drove from Ellesmere Port down to Nottingham, to Burton. Um, Met you and the rest.
yeah.
The agreement was that I would film it all, and then I edited it all. And do you know what? One of my
Oh, okay.
best pieces of work as well. That intro was amazing. The music was amazing. It had so much potential. Such a shame that it didn't go anywhere, or it wasn't even seen anywhere, to my knowledge. Probably still got a copy somewhere. I've got the full episode and all the edits still somewhere, I think, on a hard drive.
Yeah, I remember. I have seen the final edit.
It
I
was
think.
brilliant. I was so made up with it. I was like, "Oh, this is so good," and the next minute, I was not a part of it, and I'm
Yeah.
just really watching what I say
Yes.
because
And
I've let the past go now. It's all good.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then about 2 months later, I was let go.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
then
lasted 2 months longer than me.
yeah, it was. Yeah, when I had to go out in public trying to get people to get in the back of the van to
Yeah,
come
that
on an
was.
investigation,
Oh,
that was so awkward.
those two girls that randomly turned up and one was vaping, I think, all night.
Yeah, yeah, that was.
Honestly, had such potential.
It did. It
But I
did.
think the problem with the paranormal is some people just completely go over the top and ruin it for everyone. What I've always tried to explain to people is this, like, obviously with my sitcom Morbid, although I wrote it, although I created it, although I am the main man, I guess, because if you have a production company and you spend thousands of pounds a year buying equipment, then of course I'm going to write me as the main character because I've built a business to be able to act and do things.
Yeah,
But I also want people to enjoy that fame as well, to enjoy that
yeah,
collective.
yeah,
And in this industry, when you're working on productions, you can't do it alone. There is no room for ego. When we filmed Morbid, we had Dean Sullivan, who was going to play my uncle in the show. Now, for people that don't know Dean Sullivan, if anybody remembers Brookside, he was in Brookside.
Oh
Can't
wow.
remember his character's name now; it's gone out of my head. Um, but his, lovely guy, but turning up and being, you know, just having an attitude. It's like, don't come back tomorrow because you need everyone to be in a healthy mindset.
Yes.
You,
Yeah.
you you can't afford to have egos or people who think they're better than everybody else. It doesn't work. Everybody has to work together, and everyone has to equally put the same amount of effort into something to make it truly work. And that I didn't know that at the time when I worked with you, and I didn't really expect it with Scariest Places. But people, if you don't kind of put the foundations down at the beginning and say, look, no egos, nobody's. Miracle Laura was one of the reasons why people watched the show. Just like Most Haunted, Derek was the
Derek.
reason
Yeah.
why people watched the show.
Yeah.
And you can't change that foundation. Derek was the crazy scouse guy that everybody loved to see get possessed. That was the show. yes, it's nice to have the ghost story. Yes, it's nice to have the night vision stuff. But take Derek out, and although they went on for many years after, it was never the same. When
Of course
Derek
it
left,
wasn't.
I
No.
never watched the episode again. I didn't know who Leslie was until I met her, and then watched episodes with her in it. When Derek left, I completely walked away from it. But I was getting a bit older at that point anyway, and I'd kind of 3-4 years worth of watching Most Haunted religiously. You kind of get the gist of how the night's going to go.
Yeah, yeah.
But Derek made that show, and I know a lot of stories of Most Haunted that I'm not going to divulge from the people that obviously worked on the show. I'm going to keep those things to myself. But
I have a few as well.
yeah. But I think when I did Morbid, the first thing I said to people was, "Look, we're all in this together. No one's bit. If I have more screen time, it's not because I think I'm better than everybody else. That's just the way this episode is.
Yeah.
You can always try to be fair with everybody, but you're not going to make everybody happy. But if you put the foundations in at the beginning and say, look, you might only have a small part, but your small part makes the show. It brings the show together. It gives the realism. It gives the foundations, and it gives the body of what we're trying to create. There are no small parts, just small actors, which is a line from from Morbid. But it's true though. And I think I was very young and naive when I worked with you on that show, because I got really upset when I was kicked off it for no reason. I had to go down and have a meeting with one of the members, and I was basically paid off.
Oh, I wasn't paid off.
It
I didn't get no
wasn't
money.
it was probably fuel money, if that.
Oh,
But
okay.
but
Yeah.
for me, it was a case. I think it was probably more the fact that I had the physical show on a hard drive.
Yes, keep you nice.
So, but
Yeah.
you live and you learn, and you do. I don't regret these moments. What I do,
No,
what was
I
really,
enjoyed it.
and like I said to my mum before, because she was like, I remember two guys coming to watch the edit in your room or something. This is before I had the office. And I said, yeah. I said, like, everybody deleted me, everybody blocked me, everybody never. You're the only person that spoke to me, and I'm just like, well, you're the nicest one anyway out of them all, but for years I couldn't talk about it. And that
No.
was when I walked away from Scariest Places. That's when I walked away from the paranormal, and that's why I just stopped doing stuff. I just couldn't. I couldn't deal with the backstabbing everywhere you went, everywhere.
Yeah.
And then things to be said about you when they're not true. Like, I'll help anybody, and I'm
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm not somebody that needs the limelight. I'll happily, step back, but I think now, obviously, I approach things a lot differently. But yeah, at the time, it was a horrible thing to go through when you're in your mid-20s and you're still learning about the world and you're still kind of figuring out yourself. But those moments make you who you are today. And if it hadn't have been for that, I wouldn't make the decisions I make now. So, in some ways, you have to go through those struggles and learn for those mistakes in order to then grow in the future and make better decisions. So everything happens for a reason, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't regret anything that's happened in my life, because if I'm happy at the moment, then I've had to go through the other things that are good and
Yeah.
bad to
Mm.
get to where I am now. So I've been through shit with the paranormal, and in a way, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it
Mm.
just made me free, and I just did everything. I worked with so many people over the last few years. It's crazy. Been to so many places. So for me, I'm quite happy. So we have to live and learn, take it on the chin, and then try and make something positive from it, I think.
And you're well respected. You got a lot of people that support you, and I think, yeah, at the end of the day, things happen. I think it just makes you the person you are, and you can look back and go, do you know what? I like who I am. I
Yeah,
like the fact that I
yeah,
don't just jump into things without thinking. I kind of go, right, let's assess this. Let's find out who's who, and I think it just makes you doesn't it does change who you are, because I used to just say yes to everything, do everything, and not even think that anybody was going to stab me in the back. But yeah, it was a great night. We had a laugh. We created something that could potentially have been really, really good.
could have been a great
Um,
TV show. That.
could have been, could have
Yeah,
been. And if everybody had realised at the time, we all created this collectively, regardless of who actually came up with the idea or this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. Creatively, we all put time and effort into something and created something really good.
Yeah, and it's never been done on telly, that idea,
I
which
know,
is
I know,
strange. Yeah.
you know, but some good things just stay hidden away.
They do. One day, you never know.
One day,
So
one
Carl
day.
said Dean played Jimmy Corkill in Brookside.
Jimmy Corkill, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. Obviously I'm talking on camera, so when you're talking in front of a camera, things go out your head. But yeah, Jimmy
Yeah.
Corkill, lovely guy. Met him on a ghost hunt at it was the Gladstone Theatre near Birkenhead. It's in Port Sunlight. And he came on a ghost hunt. I think Gary was there. I think Gary was there, and he said, "Yeah, I'll get involved in your little sitcom." Lovely guy, lovely guy. I think he was just going through a few things in his own life at the time, but yeah, lovely guy.
So what is Morbid? You keep mentioning Morbid. Give us the synopsis of Morbid. What is it?
So Morbid is a sitcom that I wrote back in 2007, but I got the idea in 1997. So my granddad died in 1997, and my mum joked with him before he died. We used to visit him after school in hospital in Chester, and she used to say, "Your nose will never fit in a coffin," and he was laughing. We've got a very morbid kind of sense of humour in this house.
Yeah.
My mum says when she dies, she's going to come and haunt me, which I do believe she will try. So they laughed and joked about it, and then when he passed away, I remember going to the funeral directors, and she walked straight into the room, looked at his nose, and it was bent, and she went, "Told you," and that was it. I just was fixated on this kind of way people cope with death and how they cope with the loss of somebody, and how they say and act very randomly to kind of mask, how they must be feeling internally. So I always had this idea. I thought, I've got to do something with that. 2007, I wrote a show about my sister, me, my best friend Dave, and my best friend Elric. Went to school with Elric, and he co-writes Morbid with me now.
Okay.
So I never changed the names of the characters. The characters are real people. Uncle Roy in the show is my Uncle Roy, who's a bit mad. So there's Michael and Ashley. The first episode, they find out that their parents have died, and they have to take over the family business, which is the funeral directors. Ashley wants to kind of sell, and Mike wants to obviously keep it. And he's got a lot of issues with the fact that his dad never gave him kind of the gratitude, the love, and the support. So his kind of character arc is the fact that he always wants to be accepted by his dad.
Yeah.
So they have a funeral booked in, and they've got like days to do this funeral, and they don't know what they're doing, and they've got no staff. So they take on Dave, who's a bit of a Del Boy character, Jack the Lad, get anything off the back of a lorry, anything that's cheap, he'll sort it. And then Elric is like this new age hippie that thinks he can talk to the dead. It's never confirmed or denied whether he can or can't, but he is a bit of a dreamer character. And he wears flip-flops everywhere. So it's about a brother and sister take over family business, take on these two idiots that don't know what they're doing. None of them know what they're doing, and they've got to make it work in this small little village where everybody knows who they are. And they've got to compete with Jeff, who used to work for his dad, who runs a rival business across the road. So the running gag is the fact that they don't have a Starbucks in the village, but they've got two funeral directors. So we filmed the pilot back in 2017, and it went out in 2019. So this was right after Scariest Places. I kind of felt like I needed something else after the paranormal and all that. So I went straight into Morbid. bought a hearse on eBay as you do. Went down to Essex, picked it up, and then I did about like 90 to 100 all the way home. Oh, you should have seen the faces of people as I was driving. It's brilliant.
Should have put a skeleton on the back.
There was a prop coffin in the back. You know those little baby on board stickers on the back window? I had body on board written on
Oh
one.
wow.
Yeah. So we filmed Morbid, and then now we've just submitted it to a call out. So we'll know after the 31st of January if we've been well. I assume it closes on the 31st, and we've got like a little while to find out if we've been one of the successful 5, and then we get a chance to go and learn how to pitch. We get to talk to people
in the industry.
Yeah. It doesn't guarantee a commission, but it puts us in a room with people with money that potentially might go, we like this idea. So that's what we're doing this year, and then I'm gonna get all the cast back together to film a documentary. 7 years on since the pilot. Where's everyone at the moment? What are they up to? What did they think of the show? We've written 6 episodes. We've got ideas for 3 series and a special, so 25 episodes in total. And we're going for it this year. We're absolutely going for it, and we're going to be pushing it everywhere to try and get it commissioned, to try and get the funding, to try and do it independently. So that's what we're doing at the moment. So, yeah, busy year with Scariest Places and Morbid.
I was going to say, I've seen. Didn't you re-edit it the second time you released the same episode? Is that right? Am I remembering
I
that
cut
right?
it down to 30 minutes. So I was in conversation with somebody who is a producer in the industry.
Yeah.
They told me to cut it down to 30 minutes. We cut it down to 30 minutes on the dot, tightened it up. And so there's 2 episodes, but obviously it's the same episode, but just shorter.
Yeah. Okay.
So we did that, and then since we did that in 2019, me and Elric have rewritten the script because we feel it's a bit dated. Because obviously it was written in 2007, and then it was adapted. And then obviously by the time we came to film it, it's like, it doesn't really feel like a 2007 sitcom anymore, because sitcoms have changed, humor's changed, what you can and can't do has changed. So we've rewritten it. We're going to hopefully film the pilot again this year, but we've split the pilot into 2 episodes. So episode 1 and 2 is the continuation of the opening story.
Yes,
so we're going to film 2 episodes. And then we've got the others written, but we won't film any future ones because obviously we need to kind of keep what we've written kind of in the bag.
Yes.
So we might only just release the refilmed pilot.
Yeah.
And keep the second episode kind of hidden, because we don't want to show that we've put 2 episodes of a 6-episode series out. So, but we're going to film it all, because obviously what we're filming is basically the 2 episodes, but we're just going to cut it into 2 half-an hours instead of a 45 minutes. So we're going to do that.
So did you have to do any research in funeral homes? Did you go out looking? Did you speak to people in the industry to make sure you get the little details correct? Or okay,
no.
I was waiting for that. No. Okay.
No, I just had this idea and filmed it.
Fair play.
And but we had a funeral director working on the show when we filmed it.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah.
We filmed
Giving
in a
you
real.
the tips. Yeah.
They lent us a coffin. They lent us a funeral car limousine to go with the hearse that we'd bought.
Yeah.
He lent us his embalming table and one of his staff members to play a dead body. And he's still very much part of the kind of cast and crew, and he had a little cameo in it as well.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So we learnt a lot actually. So as we were filming, we actually changed scripts in the moment, because we realised, oh right, okay, so what is this accurate? Is this accurate? And he went, well, I'd change this, or I'd do this instead of that. So we kind of adapted it as we went along, and obviously now, I've worked with crematorium companies. I've worked with a big company called Memoria. I've travelled up and down the country filming all of their locations.
Okay, yeah.
and then I've worked with funeral directors since. I've been down to Norfolk to film for a funeral director. Um, I've worked with a few up here as well. I actually filmed a training video on how to cremate somebody. So yeah, for me, death. It's funny. Someone said to me not long ago, "Why do you write shows about ghosts and death and dying?" I'm like, I don't know. I said because I don't actually have a full time morbid humor. It's a very small part of the comedy that I write. It's just I did Scariest Places, and then all of a sudden I went straight into Morbid, and everyone's like, "You've got this niche death kind of paranormal kind of skill of writing," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'll kind of typecast myself into some kind of genre, some cult following. So yeah, maybe one day I'll write a nice, pleasant comedy that doesn't involve death and dying.
That's not interesting. I love the death
No,
one.
that's true. So death sells.
But how do you write death as funny, but not cross that line to be disrespectful?
You don't focus on the death. You
Okay,
focus on the
right,
characters dealing with the death.
right, okay.
And I think that's why you don't see sitcoms about funeral directors. Yes, there was In Loving Memory with Thora Hird and Christopher Beanie.
Yeah,
There have been a handful of shows that will use certain characters that are funeral directors or whatever. And you'll have like the odd episode of Father Ted where someone's died, and you'll have. The reason why it's probably not been done is because I think when I've seen people that have done pilots, and it's the generic putting the milk in the fridge where the dead body is. It's having your lunchbox next to Mr. John. All those kind of things. It's like in the first pilot of Morbid, we actually dropped the coffin. Now we've completely taken that out because even now we look at it and go, yeah, that's not the comedy we want. Now we know more about the industry. Now we know more about the people who they're unsung heroes, people that literally have to scrape dead bodies off roadsides, people who have to deal with young infants dying. These are people who don't get the credit that they deserve. And when we rewrote the episode, we went, you know what? We don't really need to drop a coffin. I think that's quite childish. So, we're willing to learn and go, right, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't really want to do that kind of humor. But we tried to stay away from the generic gags. But looking back at our own work, we went, yeah, I think we'll change that. I don't think that's what we want to portray. So I think as I've grown up with this show in my head, because this show was in my head well before Scariest Places, I think it's adapted, it's grown, and it's gone with the times. And that's why I think this year we're happy to film the pilot again to kind of show that we've thought a bit more about it. But yeah, the amount of funeral directors that message me and go, "Oh wow, this is actually quite good, considering." So yeah, so we're kind of seeing where this year takes us. Documentary and a refilm of the pilot will kind of put us in a better position, and then we then submit it again and submit it and submit it and submit it until somebody goes, "Oh, just take the money and make the bloody thing." You know what I mean?
If you ever need a grave digger in the background,
mate, I
let
will
me
tell
know.
you right now, live on this podcast now, it's yours. You message where if I still have the power to do it, I will do it.
That'd be awesome.
Get your little JCB out.
So if you could work in, we'll say it as your dream project, what would it be apart from your own show? Obviously, what sort of project would you like to be involved in to write or star in, if you could?
Morbid obviously is the number one,
Yeah.
but I think obviously if we took that out the equation,
Yeah, if you took your stuff you've already done
I would
out.
love to do a real paranormal show that does not do night vision, does not do investigations, does not try to prove a ghost exists. a show that just talks about the stories,
Yeah.
all the great famous stories of the UK. Don't care about America, don't care about going abroad. All I care about is British, good British paranormal ghost stories, and leave the audience to kind of go, oh, that pub's not far from me. I'm going to go and have a little look at that. And, so I don't think a show needs to prove a ghost exists. I think those days have gone.
Yeah,
I think if more people, because I have people message me all the time going, oh, I've got this idea for a ghost show. Do you want to get involved? I'm like, nope, do not want to know. If I did a paranormal show, it would be just me and my camper van traveling the UK, visiting haunted locations, interviewing people, doing a bit of a story around the place, a bit of smoke machine, lights coming through the window, dark blue haze, creating an atmosphere, talking about the ghosts, and then leaving it at that, and then just doing little mini series and just traveling up the UK and doing all these little locations. I'd love to do that. And another thing, obviously, like a little camper van adventures show. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah,
Which probably will get done at some point.
I think you're onto a winner there with the stories, because it's quite similar. Well, not similar, but sort of thing that Danny Robbins does with Uncanny. He doesn't. He's got his show. He doesn't do the ghost hunting side. He has people in his studio. He lets the people online to interact what they think is going on with the stories from BBC Sounds on the podcast.
Yeah, and he's brilliant what he's done, what he's achieved.
Exactly, and that is by far the best paranormal related show there is, I think. No more Ghost Adventures, no more Most Haunted, obviously. Help My House is Haunted, I think that's going to be finished quite soon from what I sort of hear on the grapevine. So those sort of shows are definitely disappearing, and I think people just want to listen to see the location, see some interviews with people, find out the stories. And I think that's because they're fed up with the bullshit. They're fed up with all the fake stuff, the gadgets, the all the effects at night, like you say, the night vision. I think people have they've reached their point, I think.
Yeah, it's been done. It's been done. There's nothing you can, I follow a lot of shows. There's a couple of shows not far from me that, they're doing this, they're doing that. And it's just like, I just don't care anymore. I don't care. If I want to see a ghost, I'll go to a graveyard or something. Not that many ghosts are in graveyards, but there's still something spooky about them, isn't there? And there's still, and the thing is, I can't even sit and watch an old episode of Most Haunted anymore. I can't watch Ghost Adventures anymore. The problem is these people get so big for their boots that you kind of start hating them in a sense. You kind of go, oh, I can't be bothered watching you anymore. Not hate them, but you kind of sit there and you think to yourself, oh, I can't be bothered watching this same old crap. Oh, did you hear that? Let's go. And most of the time they'll hear something and then they'll run the opposite direction. Like you asked for it. So I think it's all done. And like we were saying before, like just AI's completely just wiped that game out completely. But these people that keep coming up with these ideas of ghost shows and night vision, it's just like, what are you doing? I don't want to know. No. I've been invited to be a part of a few shows, and I'm just like, nope. Because there's 9 times out of 10, a year or two down the line, this is a big long Facebook post. We've gone our separate ways, and I'm just like, oh, there we go.
Didn't last long.
Out of all that now.
Yeah, that's the problem though. There's so many people leaving the paranormal at the moment that I know, and it's like unfortunate because they're great people, but you got to do what's right for yourself. And you've had enough of the bullshit. You've been in it for like over 10 years, and it's just like you've reached your point, and it's just. Or at least have a break from it, But
it's a shame, because I have had a few people say, oh, what if you were to do a show? I think last time I did a podcast for you, I think you said, oh, what would you work on? I said, oh, I'd love to do a paranormal show, but it would 100% not be walking around in the dark. 100%. It would be true stories, accounts, people who have lived and breathed something, and leaving it up to the viewer to make their own thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So watch this space. There'll be something soon.
So, if you could have, what would you have written on your fictional headstone?
Well, I'll have a headstone one day, so it's not fictional, isn't it? What did Marty
In
McFly have on his?
I don't know.
I'd probably have Here Lies, Michael David Roberts, and then it would be well, that went well.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I wanted a little hole for a spirit box, so when you come to the grave, you just turn the spirit box on and you can chat to me.
I like that. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but someone would nick it probably. So
Someone would definitely have to cut my head completely off just to make sure I didn't wake up. That's the only thing.
Oh, is that a thing?
If I wake up in a box and I'm buried, oh my God.
No more rope with the bell. No.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but I think someone would probably nick the bell.
The Victorian thing they used to do back in the day. So before we finish, I've got a little quick fire round. Ghost hunt or comedy club?
Oh, Ghost hunt. If I want to watch comedy, I'll watch Ricky Gervais on Netflix.
Yeah. Ouija board or script board?
I don't think I've ever used. What is a script board?
I don't know. It's just what it says here. I was writing them down.
I assumed you'd know. I've got a Ouija board, so I've got a Hasbro one. So yeah,
fancy.
Ouija board. Yeah.
Creepy doll or haunted mirror that would be in your bedroom?
Doll? Yeah, I have a doll.
Yeah. Cool. So, guys, if anyone's got any questions for Michael before we wrap up, please put them in the comments now for us. That would be great. So I've got a couple of more questions just to finish. Obviously, we've spoken about what's coming up this year for both of your shows, Scariest Places, what you want to do anyway, and the plan for Morbid. If you could get... Normally, I have the same two questions from my paranormal guests. What you get rid of in the paranormal and your bucket list location to investigate. With the getting rid of something in the paranormal, you can either go down the paranormal route or you could do a take on it within filming your sitcoms, your shows.
What do you mean?
Like, if you could get something that really annoys you, if that didn't exist, that would make this job a lot easier. What would you want to get rid of?
What would I get rid of in the paranormal or just anything in life?
Paranormal, or when it comes to your producing and making your shows?
I'd get rid of any night vision. Any night vision.
Okay.
Yeah. And what else? What was the other part of the question?
When it comes to your creating your shows, what would you get rid of? Something that really gets in the way.
The cat sometimes.
The cat.
I'm only joking. No, you can't create a show without a cat.
No, there's no one there, just you.
Yeah, just me, one man show like Alan Bennett. I would probably get rid of the scripts. I don't like the scripts. Merrick never used the script. Merrick always improvised. Everything you saw of Merrick was just what we went in a room, went, right, we're just gonna go for it. It would just be, I wouldn't even know what I was gonna say sometimes.
What about the other guys in the show? Would they have scripts? Would they need to learn their lines?
There'd be pointers. We'd have pointers. So throughout that episode, we did scripts once and it just never worked. Alan Partridge works the same way. Steve Coogan literally will just go in with a concept, an idea, and the actors around will go, right, we've got to mention this, this, and this, and we've got to get to this at some point. So everybody kind of, how it works is everybody prompts somebody else. One person knows at least one of the things we need to cover. And when you've covered everything, you've done the scene. And then if you film it multi-camera, you can then snip the bits out that maybe took a bit too long. You can tighten it up and then you can get really the juicy bits out. But you'd normally film for about 20 minutes. You'd go off on one and then you go, right, snip it down. Right, that's usable.
Oh, okay.
So I'd get rid of the scripts.
That's a great way to work, to be fair. So we've had a question
That's
from
how we
Mark.
used to do it.
Oh, nice. Do you think a paranormal program in the daytime would work or not?
No, you need atmosphere.
Yeah, you're going with too much noise, outside
It's
influences.
not noise. It's just you need to create the illusion, and the only way you can create the illusion is like now. I've got a light on me here. I've got lights at the back of me. I'm creating an illusion. If I just had generic bedroom light on, it would look boring. So you've got TV.
Build the scene. Yeah.
Well, TV is theatre.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
entertaining, so you have to kind of dress your backdrop. You've got so those most haunted episodes where you'd have big, massive blue lights coming through the windows. They'd set off a haze machine, and you'd get those nice kind of hazy little lights. So that's and the nice roaring fire, and a vet sitting there with a leather jacket on, saying "Ooh, ghosts." That is the illusion that creates. You can't do that in the day. With the butcher coming in with the sausage and bacon deliveries and stuff, and the Carlsberg man dropping off a couple of beers. You just know it needs to be nighttime.
Yeah, you got to add that spookiness, and
You've got to. That it's the illusion that people want to see.
Yeah. And the last question for me, like I said, bucket list location that you like to investigate if you could.
The Ram. I've never done the Ram Inn. Yeah, I think that's the one that's been on my list. It's that, and there's the other one it looks like the Ram. Skiddle. Skirrid. That's
in Wales.
Jamaica Inn, actually.
Jamaica Inn.
I've been to Jamaica Inn when I went down to Cornwall. Took my camper van there.
Yeah.
I'd love to do one there. I'd love to spend the night at Jamaica Inn. Yeah.
How is the van? How is Jurgen? Is he good?
Touch and go with the cold snap. The glow plugs weren't coming on, so apart from that, it's fine.
Oh, that's good though. so you never know. There we go, paranormal show camping with Michael.
I think there will be something this year. There'll be something
locations.
ghosty. I'll be back in the paranormal this year with something. So if anybody wants me to come along to a location, or if anyone wants to collaborate, even if you want to come and collaborate with me, we'll do some bits together.
100%.
I'm looking to do something paranormal.
Tracy said your stories are really fascinating to hear. Thank you, Mickey and Michael, for sharing.
Very good.
Thank you, Tracy. How can people still watch Scariest Places and Morbid? Where can people see these?
Most people probably haven't seen the one we did 3 years ago, which is the White Swan Inn. If you type in Scariest Places, the White Swan Inn, you'll see it. Or you can go to youtube.com/Take the Cake Pro, and it will be in a playlist with every episode from when Merritt meets Derek, and then all the 7 episodes are all there in order.
There we go, people. You know what to do.
I'll post it on my Facebook. Most people in the chat are on my Facebook. So my name's Michael David Roberts. By all means, anybody add me. I'll talk to anyone. Add me, and I can send you the link, or I can post it on my Facebook after this.
Yeah, I think because obviously you want to do more stuff with these shows this year. I think it'd be good because there'll be a lot of people that might not have been around like what we do.
When I was around the first time,
Yeah, exactly. Like pre-COVID, etc. So I think it's always good.
Peeps.
Yeah, to reinvent
Michael
yourself.
David Roberts. Yeah. I wear a big yellow North Face jacket in my profile. Actually, no, I've changed it. Got one me looking all like cinematic.
Nice.
But yeah, get me on Facebook. I'm on Mickey's friends list.
Yeah, come and find me. Great show again, says Mark. Hate to say it. Did not have a clue who you were, but very interesting. See?
Oh, thank you, Mark. I don't know who you are, but that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I've known Mark for many years, and he's very much into the paranormal. So, like I say, it's good. It's good to get more people involved. That's why these shows happen. That's why I have these awesome guests on. For obviously, not everybody knows everybody, and it's good to get to know the real people. So have to do a second show, Mickey. With Michael.
I'll be back. Honestly, get me back anytime. I'd love to. I was looking forward to this. I said to you last time when I did the lads and kebabs. I was like, honestly, get me back whenever you want. If anyone cancels, call me up.
I will do. Cool, man. Thank you so much for
My
joining me
pleasure.
this evening.
All right. Thank you very much. And
See you
thank you,
later, mate.
everybody, for getting
See you in a
involved.
bit.
See you later.
See you later, mate. Wow, guys, there we are. Michael, an awesome gentleman he is. Very talented. Please go and make sure you follow all his socials. Go and search on YouTube. Find Scariest Places. Morbid is top level for me. I could see that on a TV channel, TV show very easily. It feels so natural when you're watching it. It is literally a TV show already in my eyes. So great show, says Carl. Both you guys are amazing. Cheers, Carl. Thank you. Yes, guys. So thank you again for joining me this evening. Next week we have New Dawn Paranormal on the show. So come and join us. 7:30 Tuesday night. And it's been a pleasure. And we'll see you next week. See you later.